So good afternoon. Joining us here at ActionCOACH Campus is Lucy Hirschberger with Forever Green. And Lucy, you have owned this for 33 years, is that right?
Actually, 38 years.
Wow, wow. So
I think that
tell me about
ages me.
that. And you and your husband started it, is that right?
Yeah, my husband and I started it in 1982.
Okay.
Literally just with a pickup truck and full of tools in the back, doing mowing and hedge trimming, and expanded into landscaping, and then into the garden center, and then into greenhouses and gift lines, and just keep growing, I guess.
And it's amazing because when you first started, you were on the north side of Coralville with virtually nobody around you. Is that right? You were kind of halfway between, right?
We actually, yes, when we first started, well, when we opened the garden center, it was actually in North Liberty.
Oh,
And
okay.
we were, after a time, annexed from North Liberty into Coralville, which is a strange thing to happen, but they moved the boundary. So we used to be completely surrounded by farm fields and miles out in the country.
Yeah, well, times have changed. Now you have a big Hy-Vee next to you and people living all around you. So, So tell me a little bit about your business, the services that you offer now.
Well, like I said, we're locally owned, have been, since we started. We sort of have actually 3 divisions. Our landscape division specializes in really creating outdoor living spaces. We do plantings, retaining walls, and right now the popular thing is really the patios, the outdoor kitchens, fire pits, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of creating that outdoor space for people.
Yeah.
And the garden center and greenhouses tie into that for the do-it-yourselfers who want to buy their own plants, put things in themselves, or are just looking for flowers or containers or vegetables, things like that to plant.
Yeah, you do beautiful work.
Also, yeah, the garden center also helps people with design and answers questions. We do a lot of seminars, that kind of thing. So we're really education focused.
That is so important, especially in this community. Yeah, I was on your website earlier and I saw some of the fire pits that you do. Gorgeous work. And they seem to be very popular right now.
Oh, they are. I think people are really enjoying being able to especially this year, people really enjoy being able to get out in their yard and spend time out there. I mean, if you think about it, if you can have a nice outdoor living space, you've got an entertainment area, you got a place to relax, go outside, watch the kids, and especially with pools becoming more and more popular, people are looking for an area they can really spend their whole day or evening outside. So
isn't that the truth? Yeah. So we'll kind of jump around on my questions, but really, COVID-19 has impacted you. Sounds maybe positively, huh?
In some ways it has been positive. We've certainly been really busy, both in the garden center and in the landscaping. We're almost not able to keep up with the calls volume we're getting, especially because of all the precautions we've implemented. So
right.
But there's definitely a trend right now for people paying attention to what if they can't take a vacation, they want to stay home and enjoy their house.
Exactly.
So
that's so true.
I think in the 90s, somebody coined the expression a staycation, where people were, because of the economy, people were staying home and enjoying their yard, and we seem to be back to that again. So
I think so too. So who would be your target audience? Who's your primary customer at this point?
And it varies quite a bit between the landscaping and the garden center. In landscaping, and it's definitely homeowners, it tends to be a little higher property value, a little higher income. People who have that discretionary spending that can afford to do the bigger projects.
Right.
In the garden center, it skews quite a bit lower. It's certainly the people who just enjoy do-it-yourself projects.
Yeah.
But also because we have gift items and house plants and annuals and things, a lot of people, even that are just in condos or in apartments, who want to have some plants or brighten their spaces up, can come in and get some things.
That's so nice. So tell me, what are the one or two things that you've done because of COVID-19 to kind of maybe change the way you've done business or added on different services?
We haven't really added on services. We've just changed how we do business. And again, because the two divisions are so different, the landscaping division, it's much more just additional practices and precautions to keep everybody safe, the social distancing, wearing masks. We're having to separate our crews a little bit more so that they can distance more easily.
Okay.
The garden center was a little more complicated because it's a retail business. We wanted to make sure we could control our environment so that our staff was safe and our customers were safe.
Right.
So in early April, we made the decision to shut down the garden center.
Okay.
And not allow traffic indoors. But because we felt like the outdoor areas, the nursery and the greenhouses were easier for people to social distance and a little safer, we were able to keep those divisions or those areas open. We just had to figure out how to move our cash registers and things like that outside.
Right.
We were early in the season. A lot of our sales were curbside pickup and delivery. We had many people didn't want to come in at all. So we did some online ordering, which is hard to set up, and a lot of call in. So what we ended up with is an incredible amount of call volume and not much walk in.
Sure.
Which was, it just is a different type of thing than what we're used to.
Right.
So.
And you track your numbers pretty well, Lucy. So how much with COVID-19 did it impact your sales? Was it off 25% this year, or what would you say?
Actually, retail sales were real strong. They were about equal or a little above even the April and May. And then the strangest thing for us was that we actually sold out of annuals, which has never happened before. Our vegetable and annual sales usually extend through June and then a little bit even into the summer. Okay. And the greenhouses that we buy, all of the stuff we grow was gone by the end of May. And the greenhouses by mid-May were no longer shipping. They completely ran out of inventory, which in all the years we've been in business, I've never seen before. So we're sort of sitting now with, we have plenty of trees, shrubs, and perennials, but no annuals or vegetables, which isn't a big sale over the summer, but it is, it brings in some traffic. So
Right.
So while our sales were high the first 3 months, they've sort of leveled off and dropped down a bit. Landscaping's a little bit tougher because of the safety practices we've implemented, we're not able to get as much work done just because of separating crews and driving double vehicles everywhere. Okay. So we're just not able to produce like we normally would be. Yeah. So those sales have kind of leveled off a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me, they say that a smart person learns from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes. I love this, right? Wise people learn from the mistakes of others. Now, you guys have been in business 38 years. What are some of the things that you've learned along the way that you could pass on to like a newer business owner?
Well, and I saw that question and I thought, we've learned a lot. Having been started as, a very young person, we'll say, the biggest thing we've learned, I would say, is that the best management decisions we can make is to hire good people and trust those people. We do a lot of training. We send people to get certified. We train them. And then we try really hard to listen to them. And, we get some of our best ideas come not from us, but from our staff and our key people. Right. And, sometimes it's our management people and sometimes it's actually our garden center assistants come up with some great ideas. And not that we can implement everything, but we've just found out that if we think we have the best plan and the best ideas, we're usually wrong. So we try real hard to do regular meetings and pay attention to other people's ideas and really work as a team.
Yeah, that is so important. I mean, communication with your staff, listening to your customer base, that is so important to do. Just so they know that, they want to know that they're heard too, right?
Yeah, and I think people are happier, and it really makes a difference for us for retention. I mean, if people feel like they're valued, they're happier in their job, they're doing a better job, and they're going to stay longer, which certainly benefits us because ask any of our customers, we have the best staff around. So
yeah, that's fantastic. That's great, and that's the right attitude to have too, because we, with an abundance mindset. Those of us who are business owners, we really regard our staff that way. We want them to know how much we appreciate them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I've got your email address, Lucy. I've got your website, which is fantastic, by the way. Do you do that in-house, or who puts your website together for you?
We do some of the work on it, but we actually used a local company, Vortex.
Yeah, I've heard of
to rework. They redid it about 5 years ago, and then we've revamped it periodically since then, and we absolutely love it. They did a wonderful job for us. So
yeah, it's really nice. It's easy to navigate. I was looking through it today, partly because we're also looking for a fire pit for our backyard. So I'm like, oh, that's a nice one. Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh yeah.
And, that's so important.
The thing is, if you just about the time you think, oh, this is the style I like, you see a different style and go, oh, that fits my yard even better. So
it's terrific. So is there anything that you want to include as an offer that we can put out there for you?
I don't know that we have an offer going right now because we don't tend to be, we run a lot of sales in the garden center and those kind of come and go. I would say the biggest thing to share with people is what we're trying to do, because we've always been very community oriented and we do a lot of local events. We do tours for schools and go into the schools and do presentations. We usually have a big fundraiser for school supplies in August, and obviously we won't be doing that. But what we're going to try to do is we're putting together a scavenger hunt, because right now it just seems like families are desperate for things to do. So we're going to have a scavenger hunt here in the garden center where kids can, with using social distancing and safe practices, kind of work their way through the garden center. We have a fish pond, we have a butterfly house and some other fun stuff. So the kids can go through, do a scavenger hunt, get some prizes. And then we're offering an extra reward if they're wearing their mask, because if these kids are going to school, they're going to have to figure out how to wear masks. So we're doing that. We're also have invited we're working with a local one of the growers down in Muscatine to bring their fruit and vegetable stand up here. So starting on Friday, we are going to be selling sweet corn.
Oh, fantastic.
And we're not actually selling it. They're parking their cart out front. So they're going to have sweet corn and muscatine melons and those kinds of things. So we're pretty excited about that.
That is terrific. And I guess we'd call that a strategic partner, right? I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, and that's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, it sure is.
So Lucy, tell me you woke up this morning, what's the thing that's most inspiring to you today?
Some days I feel like I made it through another day. Well, honestly, I think it's as we're putting together these events and working with the other businesses. I've talked to the Optimists and a couple other businesses who are all kind of working together to promote each other and to help promote small businesses in the community.
Right.
And I think a lot of it to me is just, I see how our customers, but also all the other people in North Liberty, Coralville, and Iowa City have just really banded together to support small business.
Yeah.
That's just a huge thing. It's not only good for us financially, but it really is uplifting when we're struggling and trying to fight through this COVID thing to see the community really stepping up and supporting businesses.
So important. You're right. And it's what makes us proud to be Iowans, I think, Lucy. It really is.
It does. It really, because I know that's not happening everywhere. So it's nice to see it here.
It really is. It really is. Okay, don't go anywhere. Thanks, Lucy, for being with us today. I'm going to stop our recording. I'll visit with you just for a second. Again, Action Coach Campus. We're visiting with Lucy Hirschberger today with Forever Green up in, it's now Coralville, used to be North Liberty, but stop out and see them today and take part of that scavenger hunt, which sounds like a lot of fun.